It's EC Defiance versus Axe and Rose. Axe and Rose, the home team this time around. We're going to be kicking that off in 3 minutes. Thank you all for sticking around. Those of you who have been here for a while, really appreciate you guys hanging out with us throughout this Friday night. Devin, if you don't mind, I'm actually going to be sending out another announcement to remind everyone that Axe and Rose versus ECD is going to kick off now. But, Devin, on...
Oh, wait, never mind. I accidentally hit the mute button. Whoops.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I just want to know what your thoughts are on this matchup, because on paper, if we look at both sides, EC Defiance is pretty much the clear favorite. But do you think Axe and Rose can get a game or two off of this team?
I absolutely think they can. I don't know if it's the 2 games. Primarily because of ECD, the way they've been playing lately. Also, the factor that we just recently talked about, where Game 5 seems to be eluding most of these matchups. So, I'm thinking that, at least as far as like a rough estimate, one would think probably a 3-1 to ECD. Axe and Rose, I'm actually a fan of this team because they're like that development squad that just needs like a couple pieces to, just work their way in. Get their magic going, and all of a sudden they look like they can go on a run. That's what I envision out of this team. But somebody just kind of needs to step up and be that like next level player. And I'm not talking like super mechanical, but like they're doing all the small things right, like that second line like winger or center, or maybe like third line center does for like a hockey team, where like you expect like your front runners to do that, like to do all the scoring things right. But you need somebody to, at least in the championship, be at a level where you get the 50s right, you get the passes right, you get the team members into sort of like that chemistry where they look for certain spots to go for. Especially whenever you're looking at like these players right now, you would probably expect a player like either Darkshade or Borf to be like that sharpshooter, and maybe like Delight can be that person that can just formulate everything for this team. But I think if there's one person, at least in my personal perspective, I kind of want Canty to be that person for this Axe and Rose side. I want them to facilitate more. I could be very wrong on who the facilitator actually is, but I just want one person to step up more into that role.
Yeah, and for me, it's between Canty and Hamburger Herder. We've seen Hamburger Herder step up and put in some big performances. He's only played 11 games, by the way, and he's at 10 assists, so... let's not count him out. He's had a bunch of good performances. He might be that X factor that the team needs, even though he might not be the most skilled or adept Rocket League player. In my personal opinion, I'd say that's Canty. But Hamburger Herder, I think, is the X factor for this team. If he could step up, I could see this team going into the next level.
100% agreed, but as we had mentioned, they got to go up against an ECD side that is high flying. And, having played against that roster recently, just as far as the cup, don't count out what they can bring to the table, especially when they got Bisbo on the field. One that plays Disruptor really well, can maintain their control within this league. But let's see if they can get that done here in game number 1 as we get kicked off.
Here we go! Cascadian Derby in the championship. Axe and Rose versus EC Defiance.
Man, early shot already going through. ECD not slowing down from their last matchup, it already looks like. They're already getting another pass in. Unfortunately, no cuts this time around. Maybe it can go to Axe and Rose. It's a brilliant double, but nobody's on the other end of it here for Axe and Rose.
And you're seeing Axe and Rose take a more conservative approach. They have one guy going high up. This time, they have AG Delight coming up with a good 50, but no one's able to follow up the loose ball, and that allows Bisbo to take control, bring the ball forward. And now it's Axe and Rose's turn to defend. Well, I say that, but Darkshade gets the ball off the nose, and now it's just a back and forth game.
Yeah, I've been noticing sometimes that like Axe and Rose are kind of putting themselves in a little bit of unfortunate place as far as like defending and like using that defensive positioning to transition back to offense. Ooh, hell, the opportunity going there for Axe and Rose. But for ECD, it's going to be how do you just sort of maintain, control throughout the midfield? Because honestly, if they do that, they're just going to own this series no matter what. And right now, it looks like they're just sort of letting Axe and Rose throw the ball up to them, and they will take care of the rest, which honestly is a good game plan. I think they should continue to do that.
It absolutely is. And we've seen SGL teams in the past thrive on that by letting the more skillful teams just do whatever they want in the air and then react to what happens when the ball gets on the ground. But you don't want to let them have that much joy up in the air as well, because with a player like Bisbo and Nose, those two have shown their mechs off consistently this season. You don't want to give them a free ride.
Especially for a player like Nose, I feel like the highlight reel doesn't have like a famous double tap of his, then like did the week really even count? They're gonna rely on him to get this, but right now Parks has an empty net after one little dribble, and ECD have the opening goal.
Oh my goodness, what a touch! Throwing off Darkshade, who had to rush back. Was that Hamburger Herder? I couldn't tell because they were both wearing green cars, but yeah, Axe and Rose got caught off guard. The third man tried to push up and get that early 50, but just couldn't get there. Open net, Parks taking the lead. But Axe and Rose should not put their heads down. They've had a good game so far.
Yeah, they've had a decent game. They've been holding off the attack from ECD for the most part. Just one little small miscommunication right now. They're putting a lot of pressure here to ECD, but they just can't seem to get that final moment of quality that'll take them over the line. Quite literally the goal line, in this situation. So hopefully that changes, because I at least respect the team that like will just try a bunch of things even if it doesn't quite work, because you're gonna eventually find yourself to be a little bit more consistent with it.
That was not a bad center attempt, but it was way too close to the goal mouth. Gives Nose a chance to come forward with the ball. Now he's looking for boost. Doesn't get any. Parks coming in to intercept. Parks a goal scorer, by the way. We've talked about the mechs that Bisbo and Nose would show, but Parks has shown a good amount of Rocket League ingenuity on his own, like that touch right there. He was not trying to boom the ball away. He wanted to keep it close, and that allowed him to get the open net. And he gets a second right there. No, he doesn't. Hamburger Hunter diving across the goal with a huge save to keep this a 1-goal difference.
Man, it started out with such a brilliant play by Nose as well. Getting it to Parks, lay off the back pass. Bisbo maybe could get another. Oh, but it's just off the crossbar. It's a bit too much. Trying to get the soft touch. No go here for ECD on the second. The second goal is eluding them now, but maybe this is the opportunity. Gets it off the backboard. There is a challenge for Parks, but Delight is able to get a 50 out. It will fall to ECD, but we're back to a little bit of back and forth here in the midfield. Axe and Rose, they are going to need to convert on one of these offensive opportunities.
Against this EC Defiance lineup of Bisbo, Nose, and Parks, I'd say Axe and Rose have done a good job of keeping it 1-0 until the final minute when they could have had the equalizer. But Parks comes up with a big save. But it still could be Axe and Rose's turn to get the equalizer. Nose getting in front of Hamburger Herder.
And you see Axe and Rose start to push a little more, and they've
God.
had the opportunity to. Oh, they almost gave up on that one. That ball was over Delight. Thankfully, the post came in hand here for Axe and Rose. Maybe you can give a little bit of life to them for a goalie's best friend as they push the ball to the corner. That's a ball for Darkshade, hits off the back wall. The light goes in. Darkshade pops up again. No follow-up, though. It's too late, and ECD have an out through Parks on no boost.
Oh, this is not looking good for Axe and Rose, but for EC Defiance, this is absolutely perfect. All they need is the ball to touch the ground, and it does. EC Defiance win game 1-0. As much as Axe and Rose made it difficult, EC Defiance looked pretty strong and comfortable out there.
Yeah, I think comfortable is a good way to put it, because some of those offensive opportunities, they look like they could have put in, even more than one. Especially that back pass that Nose had to Parks, that brilliant defensive, posturing by Axe and Rose, who had to make 8 saves, by the way. But yeah, they definitely could have ended up slotting more. Unfortunately for them, no go this time. For Axe and Rose, I mean, the defense looks solid, but one of these opportunities is going to need to fall into the net.
I think, you know, Axe and Rose have done what you talked about. They get the fundamentals right at the first and second phase. It's only in the final third where they've really struggled. This time around, they just kept the ball low way too often and made it too easy for an easy Defiance side that was settled at the back to clear the ball out and kickstart their attacks. I think what would have helped them is if they were able to hit the ball higher up, get it off of the backboard, force them to use their boost to get up in the air, and then get the loose ball afterwards. But, you know, they have a chance to correct their course in this game too.
Yep, that's why, you know, Rocket League series aren't just a, you know, one and done. We got more games to play for. For Axe and Rose's side, they're still going to be taking things game by game, seeing where they can improve. As far as the lineups are concerned, I am not seeing any subs for this side for what we're used to be seeing subs from ECD. Maybe not as much from Axe and Rose, but I'm used to seeing at least some subs.
Kind of a surprise, but here we go. If I'm Axe and Rose, I'd be looking forward to this. You have a chance to build on that game one, get your first goal, and potentially go for the win. But EC Defiance, you know what? I think they want to stick with what's worked. They haven't really been truly tested. They've had a few tough moments, but they have looked pretty good so far. So maybe they just want to stick with what works.
Potentially. I mean, they're going to have to, you know, do a lot of what they did the first time. Oh, and especially through shots like this. Oh my gosh, the pop to himself and the flick on. That's brilliant by Darkshade.
Here we go. We're finally seeing some creativity from Axe and Rose. Darkshade not choosing to just boom the ball into the net, getting that nice first touch. EC Defiance rooted in front of the goal, and Darkshade gets a powerful shot off, and Axe and Rose take the lead in game 2, 1-0.
Funny enough, they were sort of taken to the point that I was going to want to prescribe to them. They, through a lot of these defensive stances, they've been well to get it off their line, but they're not willing to take the 50 out. At least on that one, Darkshade was like, let me see if I can control this one, get the pop, and that was beautiful. So hopefully they can translate that through the midfield and the rest of the, I guess, the final third, because that's the spot that's been eluding them the most.
Can I talk about the cars real quick that these players have been playing with? You see ECD bring out the variety. In game 1, Bisbo was in the, I believe, the Roadhog. And Parks, of course, sticking with the Dominus GT that he has, knows with the Fennec. But the Axe and Rose team is going all in on the Fennec. I mean, they want to have the best possible chance of executing their actions on the field, and there's no better car for that than the Fennec.
Yeah, I think it's been described as, you know, like, one of the absolute best cars out there. Octane hitbox, it's got, you know, the actual shape of the car, it's perfect. Every bit of dribbling works. I feel like you can actually get like solid, I guess, contact with the bottom if you're mechanical and want to go for a flipper set. Feels like the 50s are incredible. And that's what Axe and Rose are going to need. And for Nose, I mean, we've already seen the mechs with this dude once he's on that Fennec. I think it's paying off.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And now the ball is staying up in the air, but no one is following this up. Axe and Rose choosing to stay back, and this gives Rose a chance to get 3 touches off the backboard. Bisbo in his dominance following up, but Parks chooses to stay back. He couldn't beat Nose, though. AGD Delight doing so well to bring the ball out on his own. And now Hamburger Herder kicks off the counter, goes on his own, gets a 50 at the near post. Bisbo clearing it out. And EC Defiance having to deal with a couple of tough moments right here, but it's still 1-0, and they are still in it.
I think for one of like the first times I've seen that matchup, ECD has actually had like a bad double commit that I saw. It doesn't happen often, but I actually saw it from them. It doesn't really tend to affect them that much because Bisbo on the counterattack gets one off the corner, self-pass, and is able to slot that one into the bottom corner here for ECD.
And this is going to be Axe and Rose's downfall. AGD Delight goes back, but he doesn't have much boost. When the ball goes up in the air, Bisbo picked up the mid boost, and he's able to execute his aerial action and get that shot into the far post. This might be where Axon Rose might just want to hold themselves back.
Oh,
and
no, no,
concede
no, no.
own goals. Darche! Oh, no. He reacted to the ball getting in front of him. He couldn't get the second dodge to get out the way, and he touches it into the back of the net. Bispo, the goal scorer in this instance as well, and EC Defiance are up 2-1.
And Rose are gonna want that back so bad. I think Bispo put a little bit of fear into them. I saw some of the, reversing that Axon Rose put on display. They were not comfortable with that aerial that he had off the backboard, and it just caused a lot of bit of distress. Second here for ECD. They look like they're going to be shifting back into control.
With 1 minute, 22 seconds remaining, there's still time for Axon Rose to get back, but now EC Defiance has picked up the pace. They're starting to move the ball faster. They're beating Axon Rose to the ball in almost every major occasion. And even though Axon Rose are trying to get their passing plays going, they're just not doing it quickly enough, so EC Defiance are getting back into their defensive shape.
They're able to cover the ground. Bisbo looking for Parks on the end, who I swear every time attacks has like little to no boost, but somehow is not affecting them that much. They're still getting shots on. Bisbo with another high shot. Goes off the crossbar. Looking for a back pass to Nose, who has an opportunity. Gets the 50. Bisbo didn't trust immediately, but recovers and gets the shot for ECD's third. What a play here from Nose.
EC Defiance, we're down 1-0 for 3 minutes, or about 3 minutes rather. And in about 1 to 2 minutes, they got a 3-1 lead now. And that's what makes them so dangerous. They don't even need to be at their best to get a result. They're looking very comfortable here against Axon Rose now. They're in their element. Axon Rose have tried and done so well for much of this match, but once that pace started to get up, they have no response.
Yeah, the pacing is definitely a problem for them right now. They tend to like the boom back and like get your boost coverage. They love being on the ball, but it's hard for them to, translate that defense to offense and really get themselves in control, as they're not able to send another offensive opportunity at the end. They're gonna go down 2-0 in this series. Just taking back, like, they had the lead early on. They were, controlling the pace of play against ECD. ECD, like, as I mentioned earlier, they were having some double commits that I was not expecting to see out of them. And next thing you know, one thing falls for ECD, and Axon Rose just kind of crumble.
It is a shame, isn't it? Because this Axon Rose team was actually working quite well together. And, ECD stuck with this trio in game 2. You thought, oh, there's a chance for Axon Rose. But, Bispo turned up his game, and he took the whole team to the next level with his hat trick. If EC Defiance choose to rotate for game 3, then Axon Rose is in big trouble. Like, absolutely big trouble. Because they're going to have fresh players coming in, and that will cause Axon Rose a whole lot of problems because they're going to have to readjust now.
It will present a whole lot of problems for them, but and usually I'd be on the train to be like, okay, they brought in subs, at least on ECD's side, but they do this all the time. They're used to playing with each other so often that, if anything, it presents problems for the other team. Like, you should be worried about your game plan then, because all of a sudden you're facing different players. You're like, all right, what do I expect out of this person? And next thing you know, you are playing against Bisbo still, the guy who got 700 points in the last game, and you also got Green Mario and Bird. Bird famously, who probably averages 2 demos a game.
Bispo has switched to the Fenix, so you know what that means. He means business right here. Here we go. Oh my goodness, a bad start for Axon Rose already. Green Mario with his own unique car. It looks like a really flat car. I can't tell what it is, but he gets the first goal after 16 seconds. EC Defiance are up 1-0.
And it's such a good challenge there from Green Mario too. And then as soon as that happened, Axe and Rose were put in a bind. They're just going, oh no, 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 no. Trying to race back. Panic's already set in for Axe and Rose. How do they deal with it from here? Looks like they're at least able to get a couple of final third appearances here for this ball. But it's how do they maintain control? They're at least covering the midfield. That's a good double there from Hamburger Herder. Just need one more, but unfortunately Bird Nana is able to clear the lines.
Bird Nana gets a big 50 as well. That should allow Bisbo to come up and take over. But Bird takes shot off the ceiling, off the backboard. Bisbo does not get a shot on target. He and Green Mario crossed paths. Bisbo just diving in. Green Mario standing still, so maybe Bisbo had a decent shout for a shot, but he just couldn't get it on target. And Axe and Rose get away with it right there.
Yeah, they got away with it because I think Bisbo cut his turn a bit too early. I feel like Green Mario had the angle. But unfortunately, Bisbo at least gets the run back here off the wall. Gets the shot perfectly against Axe and Rose, who are bumping into each other right now. 2-0 lead here for ECD.
Yeah, and at this point, I think ECD has wrapped it up. I'm going to call it early, Devin. Game, set, match. Yes, I know this is very disrespectful to Axe and Rose, but with what I've seen so far, with how fast this trio of Bird Nana, Bisbo, and Green Mario are playing, I think Axe and Rose have just kind of tired out. They've potentially run out of ideas. I wouldn't be surprised if they make it close, if they come back and maybe take us to overtime, but I will say, I see EC Defiance winning right here.
Yeah, I see EC Defiance winning as well. Bird gets a good touch over here. But it's how Axe and Rose sort of deals with it in this situation. Something kind of, like, it has to change on their attack. And they're used to something's going well for them, but as soon as the play breaks down, it just looks like things kind of fall apart for Axe and Rose. If it doesn't go to the way they position their cars, all of a sudden they're just chasing something else. And hopefully they can get a couple of these counterattacks to work. But right now, they're just expecting one thing to go perfectly. But they need to deal with the adversity coming to them right now, or else they're going to be own goalie.
No. I'm sorry, Devin. I have nothing else to say but this.
Oh my God!
Yep. Like, if we had the I give up from Wario 2, I think I would have played that too if I was on Axe and Rose right now. That's such a heartbreaker.
It is, and I think with this third goal, Axe and Rose may as well just let go, because right now they're getting beat to the ball on almost every occasion. You know, may as well put up the aggression.
Oh,
look at Darkshade with his proactive play. Axe and Rose get one back. EC Defiance looking a bit messy at the back, but let's give credit to Darkshade. What a nice finish into the middle.
Yeah, it was weird because Bird was all messed up and Green Mario was like, I gotta get this thing out of here, but he put no angle on that. Next thing you know, Bird and Bisbo are just in an awkward spot. Darkshade is just like, give me this ball. And as soon as we talk about them getting on the board, Bird's like, okay, shut up, let's get a goal back.
Very easy pass, and I say easy despite the mechanical execution, because Bisbo had no resistance. And a good shot by Bird Nana to curve that inside the near post and put it to the back of the net. Just as soon as Axe and Rose get one back, EC Defiance extend the lead back to 3. 4-1, still a lot of time, but EC Defiance looking to add some more goals into this game 3.
Yeah, why not make it a little more comfortable for yourself as you go through? Game 1 was only 1-0, for those that may or may not remember. If you're going to go into the final 2 minutes of this game, might as well make it easy for yourself.
Oh my
Axe and
God.
Rose, they had the opportunity. Oh no, all of ECD was back. And that was a wide open net. That should have been in.
That should have been 4-2. Oh, that stings. That stings for Axe and Rose. EC Defiance get away with it. I think they're just having fun out there. They're just vibing. They're not caring too much if they make even the littlest of mistakes or the biggest of them all. They're just having fun. Axe and Rose, man, that's gotta hurt.
And maybe, oh my gosh, crossbar challenge? Wait, can Hamburger Herder catch up to this? Get
Does
around
he
the other
get it
side? Oh, what an adjustment.
Zero boost as well throughout this whole spell. Dodges a demo and then has to rush all the way up, pinches it past the post. 2-4. with 1 minute 22 seconds to go. But I'm still going to maintain my previous opinion because I think EC Defiance can go up another gear.
It's almost like a playing with their food type thing for ECD. I'm not sure I'd kind of aspire to that, but you know, also this goal probably shouldn't have gone in at the same time.
What a shame. Axe and Rose, they always get a chance to come back in this game 3, and then they just concede again. I did call it at 3 minutes 47 seconds. It looks like it's dead certain now. Game, set, match for sure for EC Defiance. They are very likely to get a sweep right here, and they're gonna keep up with the top 2. 2 points behind Steel Army, and 4 points behind. Sorry, 2 points behind. Yeah, 2 points behind Steel Army, 4 points behind the Rebellion.
Yep, indeed. That's critical for them. Like maybe if something miracle happens here in this past 40 seconds, never mind. I thought I could carry this with some way, but you know, Green Mario has just been such a disruptor here in the midfield. It's just become like cutting through, cake with, like any knife. Like honestly, it's just that easy for Green Mario to turn around and get a shot or an opportunity here for ECD.
I mean, isn't that Green Mario's hat trick as well, by the way?
And indeed is.
There you go.
First appearance, hat trick in the game.
At this point, I think they just want to stat pad and get themselves up the top 5s and, show that no matter who is in, EC Defiance will be at their very best. Now they're getting the demos out there, absolutely bullying their Cascadia rivals. Hate to see it if you're rooting for Axe and Rose, for the Portland Timbers boys. But EC Defiance going out with a bang, and they sweep Axe and Rose to keep up with Steel Army and the Rebellion.
Really good result here for EC Defiance, as you mentioned. Already taking out the Rebellion in one of the series. And then to get this win, 2 points within Steel Army, 4 points within the Rebellion. I mean, nothing's stopping this team from, I'm gonna be honest, I had this team, I think 5th at one point on power rankings. And just to see this team turn around to the spot that they're in, it's honestly really impressive to see, and I'm happy to see them, climb up this way.
Yeah, seriously. And, we've talked about how much they've progressed throughout these seasons. This team has mostly stuck around altogether. I think only a couple of other players have come in, come and gone. Or was it just Bismo? No, Bismo's the only one who's come in. Yeah, this season. But even in past seasons, there hasn't been much change, has there?
No, it's been pretty much that same roster the entire time. They've always been rotating with each other, but, it's been, Bird, Nose, Green Mario.
Parks?
Parks, yes. I feel like I'm forgetting one, or is it just those 4?
Well, they used to have Dervis, but he stopped playing as often more recently.
That's right. But yeah, no, this team has been mostly consistent. And then they add a player like Bisbo, who used to play with one of the upper teams at one point. It seems like he's fitting in really well for this ECD squad. Couldn't be happier to have him there. And now they're title contenders.
Oh yeah, you cannot count them out anymore. Absolutely. They are looking really strong. And Debit, if I were Steel Army, I'd be worried.
Yeah, it's concerning to see a team that you're, I guess, used to seeing week in and week out. You've gotten the job done against them so many times, and all of a sudden they just beat out a team that you've struggled to beat, and you're going, oh my gosh, what does that mean for us?
Yep.
It's easily to use that transitive property. If they could beat them, they can beat us. And honestly, that is true for the most part for the championship. So you definitely got to watch your back. And happened in our last match too. We actually had to watch our back.
Oh, absolutely.
For demos every time.
Oh yeah. From a 2-horse race to a 3-horse race, and we only say this because ECD had to beat the Rebellion because they were looking like just running away with the title. That really opened everything up, didn't it?
Yep, it's really open because we are seeing like a couple of those teams start to break out into those other matchups. Like, to be honest, like if FSD Azul ended up taking that 5th game against Steel Army, that could have been similar to, I mean, not in like total results, but like you remember when like EM Big Dogs like beat Steel Army in 5 last season? Like that opened up the table briefly before it like reshuffled back around. But we could have been talking about Azul potentially being like a title challenger too if things went their way a bit.
Yeah. It's a good thing you bring up Azul, because those teams at the bottom, at the lower end of the table are stepping up. They're getting up there too. Azul stepping up despite, you know, some of the issues they've had before, trying to get Divine Waffle settled in. They also brought a new player in Hab, you know, which is great to see. And we also have EC Eternal stepping up and looking very good overall. So, you know, they're all stepping up. And then you have Axe and Rose. They just look better and better. Like, the fundamentals are there. They just need the execution, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the next part. Because, I mean, we talk about it a lot. Like, these teams, they develop, they get better. We want them to get that first game win. You go through the motions. You play the offense. You don't get the goal. You go back on defense. You get your boost. You cover. You play well. Now it's just, where are those finer details? Oh, like, is this the best spot to take the 50? Do I focus to the outside? Do I bang it off the corner? Do I, you know, where's this person position? How do I get it around this person? How do I stall a little bit of time for my teammates to get boost while they're coming back and I have full boost and the ball is coming right toward me right now? It's those littler details that, you know, as you progress through the game, you'll refine, because the other stuff will just sort of come naturally. The fundamentals are there. Now it's just time to, you know, focus in on those smaller details.
Yep, absolutely. And we could talk more about that later on, because for now we have our first interview lined up. After this match, let's welcome on in Bisbo of EC Defiance. Bisbo, you were here commentating a cup match last week between EC Eternal and Los Verdes, and now you're here being interviewed by us. An incredible win for your team, very convincing, pretty much easy as well in most of the match. How are y'all feeling after that?
Oh man, pretty good. Yeah, feeling good. It was first an honor to commentate last week, but yeah, it feels good. I wouldn't say it was easy necessarily, especially game 2. We were really kind of a little struggling to get anything going, and we kind of like peeled back the layers of that match, and realized we weren't applying enough pressure. So then once we started applying it, it started going a little better, but definitely not an easy set of games.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I mean, I'm not trying to discredit Axe and Rose here. They gave you guys the test. I said that in reference to the fact that once you guys went up another gear, they couldn't keep up with you. So what was the catalyst at the end for you guys to go up to that next level?
Yeah, I think game 1 we started out really strong and scored a lot of goals. I think fairly sound. Or no, wait, game 1 we didn't. We had a lot of chances and we didn't score that many goals.
Yep.
And I think we kind of got a little shaken by that, a little nervous. And then game 2 was about halfway through, and it was like maybe 1-0, or I can't remember, but it was very close. And we all kind of just agreed, like, we're given too much space. Our second man is nowhere to be seen. Let's just up the tempo, tighten the rotations, and you know, that really seemed to work. That was kind of like, from then on, we just were going heavy pressure, heavy speed, and I think that's where we are our best. We're not like necessarily the cleanest, but with, you know, shots and stuff, or at least I'm not, but we can apply good pressure with good rotations and demos also from Bird, who has a ton of demos. He's like Emperor Palpatine. So many demos.
glad you compared him to that because, dude, like, you don't watch your back for 1 second. Next thing you know, like, you are third man, like, about to sort of help your team out, maybe come in at the last moment. Next thing you know, Bird is literally just demoing you.
It's,
and you're like,
it's
dude,
crazy.
where'd you come from?
If you looked at his stats, it's like, I think the next closest on our team is like maybe 15 or 20. He has like 50 something.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Don't understand how he does it, honestly.
He plays that critical role because, like, if it wasn't like pressure in one way, I was actually gonna like point out this. A lot of times you guys put on pressure, Parks just cut up without even getting up like any boost whatsoever. He was just laying on pressure just for you guys to, you know, like, recover, get your boost, come in for the shots. How critical was Parks in those first 2 games for you guys?
Oh man, yeah, huge. There was one defensive sequence for us that he it was in like our back right corner, and Nose had cleared it a little, but then they were right there and stuffed it back in the corner. And then I was kind of awkward and like low boost, and Parks just like swooped in out of nowhere and just cooked the entire lobby. And I think he got a goal out of that, or set up one. He's clutch, man. Yeah, he has very sharp, aggressive mindset for Rocket League, I think.
Yeah, you're gonna need it for like, especially like these other sides. It's worked out for you guys like really good so far because, like, as we had mentioned like on the broadcast, top 3 are now only separated by 1 series. These are the type of results you guys are gonna need to pull out. Yeah, exactly. It's I'm actually kind of glad right now, not just because. Well, yes and no. That's
Fair.
where being on a team is not as fun because you're like, oh crap, the results like super matter now.
Yeah,
but
I think Bird said we might be 1 point potentially off of you guys. I don't know if that's true, but I think it's close.
Just 2.
2 points. Okay, there we go.
But we also conveniently play in the last week of the season, so if all else
convenient.
holds right now.
So, Bispo, with how good your trios look, you pretty much put anyone on that field, and you guys are looking very slick. If a tough moment arrives, which trio would you say is your strongest that you'd go with?
That's a good question. Man, I don't know. Every trio is kind of like got a pretty good kind of like place on the squad. I feel like Mario has an underrated dribble game that just tears teams up consistently, like in ranked play and in the league. He just gets these like crazy goals where he just kind of bullies everyone. Bird's got some aggro play that's really fun to play with, and great aerials. Nose has really good game sense. Parks has that aggression and the good shot. I suck, so probably any 4 of them.
Don't sell yourself short, Bispo.
He sounds just like me in some spots, so I get it. It's like,
I'm
yeah,
old.
let the teammates just, you know, just sort of do their thing, and you're like, yeah, I'll cover you guys. You guys got the aggression.
Yeah.
I'll just make sure things don't get too bad for us over on the other end.
I've seen that. I've seen how you play that way, Devitt. I get it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think there is a best team, and we're experimenting with some more set rotations, which is why you saw me, Parks, and Nose doing the first 2 games. So the next series, I forget who it is, but we're trying to do like a starter squad that plays potentially 3 games in a row. So that's good. We're experimenting.
Interesting. That feels like a first ever for that team.
Yeah, it does feel that way. Yeah.
Well, there you go. I mean, given how much you guys have improved throughout this season, what's your end goal at this point? Are you guys just going to be happy enough to potentially usurp one of Steel Army or the Rebellion into the top 2? Or are you looking to win a trophy this season?
Oh man, we want the trophy. I don't know though. It's the points are distant. I don't think we get to play Rebellion again. So even if we were somehow able to pull it off on Steel Army, we need other teams to beat Rebellion, which is a tall order. We got lucky a little bit with Shorts being out on our win against them, but hopefully someone else can do it and make things even more interesting. But yeah, we want that. We want the title. We do.
There you
It's
go.
completely out of reach. Azul do play Rebellion again. We've seen how they've improved recently too.
True.
Saying anything could happen.
Any more questions from you, Devitt?
Actually, not on my end. I think I'm good to go.
Yeah, I'm good as well. Bisbo, GG's, great win for you guys. The floor is now yours. Say whatever you want to say. Give your shout outs. Go ahead.
GG's. Thank you. Thanks for the interview. Thanks for commentating and streaming. Big night for Seattle. I believe every Seattle team won tonight that played, which is pretty
right.
huge.
It is indeed.
We like that. GG's to Portland. They're a nice group, and I have a brother-in-law there, so I can't ever say mean things about Portland. But yeah, GG's everybody. Thanks for having us. GG's to my team. Thank you to ECD. I'm the youngling on the team, the Padawan, if you will, and they've brought me along, and I really enjoy playing with them. So thank you guys.
Heck
Of
yeah,
course,
that's what we like to do.
GG's.
GG's. Have a good night.
See ya.
Our stream is not done yet. We have one more interview coming up, but before we get that started, I mean, you heard Bisbo. He sounds really upbeat right now, and I guess the team spirit is high up in the air right now. Those guys are really up for this second half of the season, aren't they?
Exactly. Actually, I was potentially gonna have a question of, like, what's it been like playing with that team, but I feel like that got answered in every question.
Oh yeah.
That we asked already, so I feel like it was just going to be redundant. Seems like the vibes are just at an all-time high. Can't complain at all when playing with those guys, especially like going into a squad that like never really made any roster moves, and you get to feel that comfortable and that high-spirited going into a team halfway through this season. He just fits right in. Perfect. It's a great fit.
Exactly. And you know what? I think they made the right choice. Not necessarily looking to add more players in. I think they have enough players and they are ready for the rest of the season at this point.
Agreed.
We do have our second interview lined up right now. Yes, we have someone from Axe and Rose willing to talk about that match. Let's welcome on in EGD Delight, the captain of Axe and Rose SC. A terrible loss. A sweep is not a good way to go out, but you guys are still getting better. You guys keep improving. Let's talk about, those positives. How are you guys trying to keep up? How are you guys constantly improving your game?
That's a really good question. I think the most frustrating thing about a lot of this season's league play is there's a lot of matches that are winnable for us. Just for whatever reason, if we get a little bit behind in the count or go down a game, I don't know if it's nerves or desperation or fatigue, but it seems like as the matches progress, the mistakes compound on each other. And yeah, it's pretty frustrating. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about, your individual performances. I mean, you guys have taken a next man up approach, basically. Whoever's available, they come in, they step up their game, and they perform. And this time, it was you, Hamburger Herder, and Darkshade. This was probably like your main trio from last season, and you guys showed it as well with how well you were progressing the ball forward. Did that familiarity help you, at least in the first two games?
It did to an extent. We all know kind of what each other are trying to do. Whether or not the execution happens is the next step of it. But yeah, and everybody has their their individual proclivities. You know, some people linger up high, some people go for demos, some people, you know, stay back and play it safe. So there is familiarity, and we could at least, you know, count on predicting what each other were going to do. Just unfortunately, like you saw, game one was really tight. It was one miscommunication. I think it was Herder. I said I was going for a bump in net. Herder thought I was rotating out, so he pushed up, and that's how that goal got scored on us. And that was the one mistake in game one. But then, like I said earlier, they just compounded in games 2 and game 3. So the familiarity is there, but the execution needs to happen next.
Yeah, and that's something that we like brought up a lot, because like there's a lot of like good fundamentals to your game that keeps happening, but it's just like that final third execution. Because you guys throw in a lot of like decent balls to like either go up for, continue the play, but it's just like, where do we get that next step? Is it within like the pass itself, maybe the shot, maybe taking a 50 instead in some areas? Like, you mentioned really a lot that like things that can go for it, bro. It's like, is there like a couple specifics that you can like sort of pinpoint out?
So we were doing warm-ups for about an hour or so before going into this, and we were having some excellent team plays and passes, and like 1, 2, 3 passes that ended up in goals. Everyone was getting involved. That was in ranked, and then we get into this, and all of a sudden, none of our passes are connecting. And I don't know if that's just because I know ECD is a really physical, in-your-face team, and maybe they just weren't giving us the space to do that. Whereas ranked, you know, maybe you're playing against not a team, it's a bunch of randos. So yeah, like the ideas are there. I just think under the bright lights of Supporters Gaming League, one's fortitude can kind of falter a little bit here and there.
There definitely is an aspect to it with SGL, and like I've talked about it with like Luis before, same like with Maz. There is a level of playing against teams that have a lot of chemistry with each other that is just insanely different from the way a ranked plays. Like ranked, you're like, okay, yeah, like this person's out of position, these passes are just going like the way you want. Next thing you know, like if you're just not facing the right way, Bird Nana is demoing you in SGL instead.
Yep.
So there is like a lot like to factor in as far as like what SGL goes. That's where at least like if you just continue to play this one out like in ranked or SGL, I think probably like your next step, like I mean this is just like unsolicited advice, so to like take it or leave it, whatever, but like you notice a lot of the stuff that happens with these teams. I think now like you guys have what it takes like to do on offense, but maybe a couple of those like defensive intercepts and like understanding your opponent that way, like that may be like your next jumping step.
Absolutely, and there are some opponents that at least I personally am more familiar with than others, where I know I'm trying to think of one in particular. But you know, there's people that are just good aerially. So I see somebody go up, just go up and get in their face. Like it doesn't matter if I have a play on the ball, if they just see me up, they have to do something, you know, stuff like that. So no, 100%. And the thing, the SGL and the chemistry and the bright lights, and there's an added element of it because we're playing Seattle and it's a rivalry thing. And then there's another added thing because when I saw that you were in the commentary, Debit, I really wanted a result. Because I have not forgotten what you said on a podcast a few weeks ago, and I was very ready to tell you that I put fresh batteries in my deserve-o-meter to tell you that you deserve this win. But unfortunately, my epic dunk could not come true this week.
Oh man, deserve to win-o-meter is can either be like an incredible thing or just like a heartbreaker. So we may just have to add a couple batteries in to the next round and just have to like get the next result at this point. Because like you're a team like that I see a lot of like what ECD was going through like a couple seasons ago. Like we talk about that comparison with Los Verdes a lot. But like you guys are just like on a closer level. It's just like that next grade of execution. You're just a bit farther than they are at this point. So at this point, like it is like a understand your opponent. You're gonna make the adjustments there. I trust you guys to actually get those adjustments done, and then like translate that into like how you're gonna adapt and overcome and transition easily from like defense to offense. So, yep, glad to see that like at least the motivation aspect was there. Just really unfortunate it didn't happen this time around, but you know, not the last opportunity at least.
I expected a game, maybe two. I really, really, really did. So disappointing, but so it goes.
Well, you also got to consider that this is your team's second season ever, your third season overall, personally, you know, and Canty's second season ever, alongside Dark Shade and Hamburger Herder. You know, you guys are still relatively new to SGL overall. You're playing against a bunch of seasoned veterans, you know, so if you guys just keep putting the time in, just like every other team that has, you guys will get there, you guys will get better, you know. So I would say don't, you know, keep your chin up. You'll be there. I mean, Devitt can attest to this as well. He and Steel Army were down at the bottom, and it took them a couple of seasons before they started to really get better. And now here they are.
Definitely. Oh, definitely. No, my SGL days are long from over. We're gonna rise up here. I'm secretly courting Piglet to try to get him to drop down and join us, maybe next season.
Okay.
That could be fun. But anyway, Piglet, I hope you're listening. I'm peer pressuring you.
I love that. I love to play against Piglet. I don't think I have since like the like early days of Timber's Army, so I'm definitely down for that.
Piglet and I play twos in relative frequency, and we've got some chemistry. He's a great teammate.
Oh, he absolutely is. Absolutely. Well, I don't know if you have any other questions, Devitt, because I'm done.
Neither. I think we're good to go.
All right. Well, Delight, great to have you on here to talk about the recent match. It's not easy doing this, but I really, you know, respect you and appreciate you for doing this. It's really tough. So props to you for stepping up and coming up to the interview booth to talk about how these matches go. But now it's your turn to just have the floor and say whatever you want to say. So go ahead, give your shout outs. Go ahead.
Sorry if I'm making it weird, but yesterday, ICE shot 2 people here in Portland.
Yep.
And that shit is scary, and that shit shouldn't be happening in America in 2026. I'm pretty sure most people in here are probably on the same side, and if you can do something, if you can call a representative, if you can take to the streets, please do so. Our community's hurting, and more communities will be hurting soon if stuff doesn't change.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
And
that's all I got.
No, that's perfectly fine. And I will say for sure, most of us in this community, I keyword most because unfortunately it's not all. I wish it was, but most of us are definitely on your side.
Absolutely. Yeah. I most soccer fans are. But you know how it goes.
Yeah.
Yep. We know how it goes. Not everywhere, but we know you guys are hurting right now. Bunch of communities that could be affected by this in the future that you just don't want to see. Got to make sure that it doesn't happen to any others. I'm glad you spoke up about it. Appreciate you doing that.
And,
absolutely. Thank you.
Have a good night. And yeah, stay safe out there too, because
yes, please.
It's rough.
Will do. Thank you guys so much. Thank you everyone who joined the stream, joined the chat. Everyone have a wonderful night.
You too. Take care.
You as well. Peace.
Night.